Hi, welcome to Company C. Come on in. This is my new studio and I'm so excited to show it to you. I have dedicated the whole place to Rocky Point, beginning with my dad who started the restaurant in Ogden and my brother who started the haunted house. When I first found this space, I fell in love with actually what's downstairs, which is a beautiful recording studio. And I just felt like I could create a space upstairs where we could meet and do video editing and just some events and production. So I gutted the whole place and created everything very personal and very custom for the space. I hardly saved anything from the haunted house on purpose, but what I did save came out of the museum. And I wondered why I saved the things I did, but then when I put this together, I ended up using almost every piece of that to go on the walls. I wanted to tell the story of Rocky Point the best I could from what I had left in the space. So, as you can see, all the walls are covered with Rocky Point. All the furniture is all custom done, like I said. It tells the story of the restaurant, the history, some of the sets from the haunted house, ode to the thriller dancers who got their start at Rocky Point. And then we had a full makeup effects studio and costume shop, and this represents some of the things from there. Everything's very dated. It was 15 years ago. However, I still think they're really beautiful. And this represents some of the awards that we accumulated, I guess, won over the years. This space I created, I kind of wanted that open format for people to be able to sit and meet and talk. And I needed a place to put all of our awards and recognition. It was one thing that I really believed in while we did the haunted house, is if you were going to do it, you did it award-winning. So I did want a space to show what we'd accomplished and some things what we achieved. Everything in this place, from the lights to the pillows even, have some connection. These came from a sponsor, the velvet that they gave us, and I just dyed and bleached them and made these beautiful pillows. The grass inlaid into the custom tables represents the grass in our 8,000 square foot graveyard. I love this space. It clearly had a kitchen in it before, but I took it all out. And this dining room, it was one of those things when I first walked into this space, as creepy as it was, for some reason I started seeing a few things, and one of the things that I saw was this bench made out of the banners that I had saved. Again, another one of those, why are you saving this? But I saved all the big banners that were outside, and I've made this bench out of one of those banners, and I just love, love, love it. The art on the wall, I really didn't want anything horror related or haunted house, but I love this dark art. Every year we would have a different artist create a set of posters that represented the 8 different attractions and the 8 different fears. So this one was done by a local artist, Hyung Hwang, and I just love them. The table is made out of the barn wood from my father's mother, my grandmother's barn, and love it. And then I took the big Rocky Point metal arrow sign down in Ogden and I took it apart in pieces. And I've just used different pieces and inlaid them into different things. There's a chandelier when you came in that was made of it, and this is just a little piece of that sign. The chairs were all redone to match. And then the table legs are from an old restaurant. I redid the whole kitchen area, and again, one of the things I first saw before it was there was I wanted antique mirror on the backsplash, but I didn't know how to do it, and I couldn't find anybody who knew how to do it. So I did it myself, painstakingly. It took weeks, and I would never ever do it again, but I absolutely love the way it turned out. And it and the hardware really represent a lot of the antique and age details that we had at the haunted house. This hallway is filled with some posters that I blew up of magazine covers that I was on. I had this in my office at the Rocky Point Haunted House, and it was also in the museum, so I wanted to recreate that in here. This is just a breakout office room that I created. I've never painted walls white before, but I wanted everything white and I wanted everything to look like a gallery. So this is 20 years of posters from the Rocky Point Haunted House. This is our collection. The other thing that I absolutely love, love, love in this room is the custom table that I had made for another piece of the Rocky Point Haunted House sign. And I buffed it and cleaned it up and everything, but I just love all the rust, and there's probably 3 layers of letters on here from Rocky Point. So this is one of my treasures. So I'm going to say this about every room and about everything. It's my favorite. And the bathroom is one of my favorite spots. I redid this mirror in a big sheet instead of the small pieces, and just absolutely love the way it turned out. These pictures are from the haunted hotel that we did for Disneyland, and then the big framed grass again represents all the grass in our graveyard. And that is another one of those things. I took out the shower and the bathtub that was in here, but I saw that before I ever started on the wall, so meant to be. This mirror, I thought I had lost or sold, but we found it when I unpacked my things. It was hanging in my office, and again, one of my favorite things that I'm so glad I now have. This room I created as a video editing production room. I guess we can do anything in it, but I filled it full of things from Rocky Point again. So the sign, everyone had to walk underneath this arch sign, and every year we'd change it for our themes. So this was the final fear. I created a different size for this wall and made the crown with it. These little signs, I was not sure why again I saved them, but they came from over the top of the Slasher Wax Museum figures. And I don't really relate to the fact that it's Freddy Krueger and Michael Myers and Pinhead. I just see it as art. I don't know whether anybody else will or not. The chairs I made out of grass again to represent the grass in the graveyard. And the table, again, is a little custom, as another little section of my grandmother's wood in it. And this one I cut into little 1-inch strips, and took it down a little bit further because I thought it was just so, I wanted a little piece of that back here. These art pieces, I call them, are little tiny sections of the big giant banners that I saved. And again, why are you saving those? But I'm so glad I did. I have a lot of plans for them, but this is one of the things I did with them, is turn them into art. And then I hand painted all the frames. So when you come to the studio, you'll be able to see a lot more details. And it was one of the things that we were known for at Rocky Point, is all the details. I certainly haven't put in as many as I did at the haunted house, but there's a lot more to see when you come here in person. Again, some more of the velvet pillows. And then these signs were hanging in the different sections of the museum, and I saved them not having an idea what I'd do with them. So I actually had a different idea for this space, but they ended up being just the perfect thing to take up that space and become art. So now we're coming into my office. I saved these signs for my office because they came out of the section that talked about the Queen of Haunts. And because I was known as the Queen of Haunts, people used to make me crowns and send them to me. I have some beautiful crowns, and I hung a few of them on the walls here. I have one being made out of the rusty parts of the metal Rocky Point sign that will go here. But this room I don't really like color so much, so this is the color I put, and I kept these turquoise kind of to match the feather crown that someone had made me. These are just photographs, some of my favorite photographs of groups of people that I worked with and we had at the haunted house and from some of our events. And the sign came from the entrance sign out of the cemetery when you first walked in. I've got a few butterflies hanging around that I really haven't mentioned. Once I put everything up, it felt like the caterpillar world. And so when I finished, I just decided to put these beautiful butterflies to let me know I had now gone to the other side of that cocoon and starting a new life. Okay, thanks so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed the tour of my new studio, and I really want you guys to come back. But I've got a lot going on here today and I've got to get to it. So I'll see you guys next time. Hi again. I got so excited to show you the studio, I totally forgot to introduce myself. I'm Cydney Neil, and I owned and operated the Rocky Point Haunted House for over 20 years. And I closed it 13 years ago. So you're probably wondering, why did you create a whole new studio and dedicate it to everything Rocky Point then? And trust me, I have asked myself that many times along this journey. And somebody asked me just the other day if I thought Rocky Point was even relevant anymore. It was actually a hard question for me to hear. And I honestly had to say, I don't think it is. However, the principles it was built on, the spirit that was behind it, and the people that were involved with it will always be relevant. I'm a creator, and I'm anxious to get started creating again. And I have a lot of ideas for new creations. But just like the butterflies I've put on my walls, I feel a need and I want to finish the old before I start the new. And the old is telling the story of Rocky Point. I have had a plan for this, which has changed so many times as my life has changed and now the world is changing. So I'm not exactly sure how this plays out, but I want to invite you to follow me along this journey and we can find out together. Maybe you can even be part of it. I'd love that. So watch for my social media posts and be sure and like and comment so I know you're there. Thank you. And as I said before, I can't wait to see you again.